All right. Thank you, Shelley, again for joining us on the Spider Success podcast. This would be an opportunity for you to go ahead and just say who you are, what your title is, and what you do for our student athletes here at Richmond.
Well, great. Thanks for having me, RD. My name is Shelley Burns, and I am the director of the Center for Professional Skills and Development for our business majors and minors. And essentially what I do is I get students career ready. I work with our centralized career services team. And then above and beyond that, what are some of the skill sets or career competencies our business students need? And then I go design programs to help bridge that gap.
Awesome. Awesome. And so what programs are you running? What are the details that our students need to know?
First, let me just say I have a real appreciation for the demands on student athletes. I think anytime I've had a program, I have bent over backwards for the athletes if I can. I will work them in because I know sometimes their schedules aren't. So let me just say that out of the gate. A signature program that we have is for our sophomores, and it's called Q Camp. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-day business boot camp. It really is because students can first declare formally the first time is January of sophomore year. We intentionally have this boot camp right around that time. So what we want to do is take business students who may not necessarily know quite yet what they want to study, even though they have declared a major, or how to approach internships and jobs. And so this is a very intensive 2-day, all expenses paid, where we take students off campus for 2 days at the Westin Hotel, and we do dining etiquette. We talk about your strengths. How do you leverage your strengths, which of course is applicable to being on a team as an athlete. There's a lot of correlation there. So we want students to recognize what their strengths are. And we do mock interviews because that's a skill set all of us need. Employers are recruiting virtually. So we do that. And then we do in-person networking, which of course is another great opportunity to understand how to move from a conversation to a connection. So Q Camp's a big one. We do a Q2 sort of for juniors and seniors, sophomores and juniors in the spring. And that's just a half day. Hey, what's internship all about? And what are some of those unwritten expectations that I need to know? And so both of these programs, we intentionally set you up to make a mistake because we believe that failure is not so much what you didn't accomplish, but failure is a mindset. What did you learn from that? Right. And if you don't make those mistakes in a safe environment, right, and it's such a great opportunity, and we hate for you to make your first mistake by, showing up late because you didn't anticipate downtown traffic. Right. Why not make that, when you're coming to, we can discuss that beforehand. So the Q2, the Q Camp, I do a mentoring program for juniors and seniors, and that is a lot of fun. I hand select based on students' goals or interests. I hand select alumni, corporate partners, people in the community of all stages of their lives to mentor one-on-one with our students. And that's been had a pretty profound impact on a lot of our students. And then just real quickly, a few other things I'm involved in. I oversee our student organizations at the Robbins School of Business. So if an athlete were interested in didn't have a whole lot of time, but we're looking for efficient ways to get involved or connected to something that might be of interest to them, like finance, I can efficiently help them with that. And we also run executives. I have an executives in residence program, which are, this is where I think our athletes have also benefited significantly from them. It's really, you schedule it based on your time and the time of the executive, but they're here primarily just to support us, to support our students, our student athletes, any student who walks into the business school.
All right, and that's great. So I'd love for you to just kind of how to get signed up for Q Camp, how to kind of go about that. But before you do that, when it comes to the executives in residence, how do you go about setting up a meeting or one-on-one with them? That's not a thing you can do through Handshake, is it?
That's correct.
Okay. We
have a website. If you were to Google executives in residence, University of Richmond, the webpage would pop up with all of our bio and contact information. We just ask that you contact the executive directly. Mm-hmm. If a student were a little hesitant and not quite sure, they know they were feeling a little lost, but not quite sure where to go, I would really encourage them to reach out to me. And I would be happy to, which I've done a number of times, to help students efficiently get connected to the EIRs.
Awesome, awesome. So now when it comes to Q Camp and Q2, what's the process the students must go through to make sure that they're applied on time and appropriately?
Yes, I will say that this Q Camp is a nationally recognized program. We cannot meet student demand, which is not a good thing necessarily, but it is important that we communicate what the expectations are for registration. I will be along with a student who went to Q Camp. I'll be going into every section of accounting 201 and 202 so that we can hit anybody and everybody who's eligible to go. So I will be in front and center in those classes a week before registration to remind you that it's coming and how to get signed up. But essentially, anybody who's eligible, who's a sophomore, business major, or minor, will get an email inviting them to register on Sunday, November 14th. And then we're looking to do some things a little differently this year. One is we're going to put the application in Handshake, so our students get one central portal instead of trying to figure out other things. So that's a change. And we also are looking at ways to make it more fair and equitable. So we're trying to see how whether a lottery system and not so much a first come, first served. I will tell you, last year, a football player in terms of registration came to me before registration launched. He said he would be in practice and unavailable at the time we launched registration. And so I actually saved a spot for him. And I did that because it was no fault of his that he had to be somewhere, because of his role in athletics. And so I'm very happy to work with our student athletes to make sure they have every advantage to participate if that's a possibility. The other thing I would say, if any athlete were interested in attending Q Camp, to come talk to me ahead of time. One of the things that we would talk about if you were selected would be to work with your coach. We recognize that the timing of the season, the timing of the sport, in what season, there are a lot of variables as to whether a coach can release you from a practice. But we have worked with student athletes and some of our coaches have been fantastic.
Okay, great. And this year's Q Camp is January 27th and 28th?
27th and 28th. At the Westin Hotel, and it's our 15th Q Camp conference. So we're going to have a big celebration.
Hey, there's a lot to celebrate. That's really great. So they'll get an email. They'll be able to also sign up through Handshake, and they'll find out through you who's selected through the lottery system and all of that. So great. That's outstanding. So that's all I got. I appreciate you, Shelley. Thank you so much for spending your time with us here and giving us great information for all that you're doing with our student athletes, Q Camp, Q2, and everything in the business school with the executives and residents. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, and appreciate it, and absolutely look forward to seeing all those athletes in action as well.
Oh, yeah. So lining up at your door.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.
You as well.